Hello and welcome back to Iron Fitness, your place for gains in the gym. Do you build more muscle using light or heavy weights? Everybody has a different opinion on this topic. Some think light weights with higher reps are optimal, others say they got the most gains from training with heavy weights and low reps. So in this video, I want to answer this question based on scientific data and personal experience. So let's get straight into it. At the beginning, I want to clarify that heavy weights and light weights are different for each individual. So we need to get a different system of measuring. This system is called intensity. The intensity is the percentage of the 1 RM. 1 RM is the weight where you can barely get one repetition in a certain exercise, the 1 rep max. When you train with 100% of your 1 RM, you only get one repetition. When you train with 70% of your 1 RM, you will get more reps. This means the higher the intensity, the less reps you will get on a given exercise. This principle got tested on several trainees and captured in this chart. Each intensity is linked to a rep range. As you can see, if you use light weights, you get more repetitions as if you use heavy weights. In most studies, light weights are referred to weights lighter than 60% of your 1 RM, and heavy weights are referred to weights heavier than 60% of your 1 RM. Training with lighter weights has a lower risk of injury, it is easier to maintain your form, and you get a better pump. That sounds pretty good, but is it really the better training style? A lot of studies show it's quite the opposite. Training with above 60% of your 1 RM was shown to be just as effective as training with 30% of your 1 RM. However, be careful when implementing those principles into your training. Extremely low reps like 1 or 2 repetitions with heavy weights aren't optimal for gaining muscle mass. A study showed that training with 8 to 12 repetitions is superior than training with 1 to 4 repetitions. In my training, I try to avoid weights where I get less than 4 or 5 repetitions, and I advise you to do the same. Moreover, the body can't handle heavy weights as well as light weights. Your tendons, joints and ribbons will be more stressed when training with heavy weights, leading to a higher risk of injury. So make sure to only use heavy weights when your tendons, joints or ribbons are healthy. Now let's talk about light weights and more repetitions. In order to build as much muscle as using heavy weights, studies show that you need to train to muscular failure with light weights. And that's the problem using extreme light weights. For example, if you train with 30% of your 1 RM, you will hit muscular failure around 25 to 30 repetitions. The problem with that is that firstly, most people don't have the stamina to do this amount of repetition, meaning they will fail the set because of their endurance and not because of muscular failure, so they won't experience optimal muscle growth. And furthermore, this training style is very exhausting and takes up more time. Just think of doing 20 reps on the squat. I start to get out of breath even doing 10 repetitions. However, doing exercises like the side lateral raises, shrugs, forearm exercises, calf exercises and neck curls, 12 to 20 repetitions are viable. Furthermore, make sure to vary the rep ranges over time, since different rep ranges affect the body differently. Generally speaking, there are 3 ways to grow muscle: through metabolic stress, mechanical tension or muscle soreness. Doing more reps triggers your metabolic stress. Moreover, this training style targets more of your slow twitch muscle fibers. Our muscles can be divided into fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fibers. The slow twitch muscle fibers can't develop much strength. However, they are more persistent. The training with higher rep ranges targets more of the slow twitch muscle fibers. So it makes sense to train muscles like the calves that mainly consist of slow twitch muscle fibers, doing more repetitions and lighter weights. In contrast, heavy weights and low reps target the fast twitch muscle fibers. The fast twitch muscle fibers provide you with more strength, however they fatigue much faster. So developing your fast twitch muscle fibers leads to more strength. And as we know, progression is inevitable for building muscle. So make sure to include heavy weights not only for strength gain, but also for muscle gain. Training with low reps and heavier weights triggers muscle hypertrophy through mechanical tension. Mechanical tension can only be achieved through training with heavy weights, so as well, make sure to include at least some heavy lifting in your program. However, don't go below 4 or 5 reps since it's not optimal for growth and you are prone to injure yourself. So let's sum up. Generally speaking, you can build the same amount of muscle either using light or heavy weights. In a practical sense, training with heavier weights is superior, meaning 65 to 90% of your 1RM getting us 4 to 5 repetitions is the perfect rep range. Using this rep range, it's not as exhausting as training with light weights, and there will be less tension on your tendons, ribbons and joints as whilst training with heavy weights. I personally recommend going a bit heavier, like 80 to 90% of your 1RM, meaning 4 to 8 repetitions, on your compound movements like the bench, squat, deadlift or overhead press, and go a bit lighter on isolation movements, meaning 80 to 70% of your 1RM, talking about 8 to 12 repetitions. And as already said, doing exercises like the side lateral raises, shrugs, forearm exercises, calf exercises and neck curls, 12 to 20 repetitions are viable. Lastly, make sure to change your rep ranges on your exercises from time to time. What I always do is using rep ranges as a progression system. For example, I start off doing the bench press for 4 to 6 repetitions with heavy weights. This will work for a while, but at one point you won't be able to increase repetitions or weight. Then you change up your rep range and do 8 to 10 repetitions with a lighter weight. When you stagnate, again go back to 4 to 6 repetitions. On compound lifts, vary 4 to 6 reps and 8 to 10 reps, and on isolation exercises, vary from 8 to 10 and 12 or more reps. And make sure to not only train in a certain rep range. For example, if you do the bench press and the overhead press, start doing the bench press in a 4 to 6 rep range and the overhead press in an 8 to 10 rep range. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope the video helped you, and if you've got any questions, just leave a comment under this video. And if you found the video helpful, just leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.